Good morning.
Good morning.
Shell is not here yet. She forgot to ask Craig before he went to the basement.
I called her before I left.
And now she wanted me to send her the link again, and she's trying to do it on her iPad, I guess. I don't know.
Oh dear.
So.
Okay, I gotta call her and maybe set up a regular.
Or
a
reminder. A reminder. You would think Craig would know by now.
Yeah, but it isn't every week.
No.
But you'd think. Put it on the calendar. Put it in your phone calendar, though I suspect he doesn't use his phone.
I don't know. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Pretty well.
Oh, good. Good. Well, I'm just giving Shelley a moment here to see if she can. Actually, I guess we could ring the chimes, and if you have any particular questions, we could address those while we wait.
I don't know that I have particular questions.
Okay. Well, the teen shop's very happy today. The sun is out.
It is.
It's a plus. 2 days in a row already.
Yeah. Though I did not opt to go for a walk yesterday.
A little chilly.
A little chilly, and realizing, I'm not going for a walk because I particularly want to go for a walk. I'm going because everybody says, oh, the sun's out, you should go for a walk. Well, no. So I rode my bike, and I exercise bike instead.
Oh, well, that's good. No, I walk in here. I have circles I do.
Up and down the stairs a couple of times.
Well, I get that during the day anyway, so.
Well, we've got an exercise bike.
Uh-huh.
Actually, John was the instigator of it, but I don't think he's ever used it.
Oh, no.
Maybe a couple of times when we first got it, but it's down in the basement, so he can't use it now.
Oh.
But
You can.
I can and do.
Good.
And I have it set up so I have a TV in front of me and I can watch. We subscribe to great courses.
Uh-huh.
So the one I'm watching right now is Everyday Engineering.
Oh, God.
Well, it's
I bet it's interesting.
It's taking a house and all the other things that engineering has touched to create, to give us a place to live.
Yeah.
And yesterday's lecture was on coal, oil, and natural gas. The one before that was wastewater disposal. And the one before that was freshwater drinking water. And so it's really very interesting and very
Well, our most recent engineering thing
Where's
is,
your roof?
no, well, yes, the roof. But years ago, when they put in the water filter for our well,
Mhm.
they put it way up by the ceiling. And now I have to get up on a stepladder to do it. And
Do you put salt in it?
no, no, I don't have to do that, but we do have to change it with some frequency. Um, but our plumber, we have a great plumber.
That's always good.
He's not cheap, but he's great. When we were having a brief problem with, after the fracking, every once in a while, particularly after a rain, the water gets a weird taste.
Mhm.
And then it goes away. But he said he could put in a new filter that would take care of that as well as what the current filter does.
Mhm.
And he could mount it on the wall. So he's coming next Monday to do that.
Our filters, we have two big discolored tanks. One's about this big, one's a little smaller.
Uh-huh.
And we have this white thing that we put salt in every month or so,
Mm-hmm.
salt crystals. And then there's another tank thing that and they've explained it to me. It goes in here and it does that and it flushes this and this just comes in.
Oh God.
But the one over here, the small one, which it isn't one of the filtering, I think it's a holding tank, and also
Yeah.
it has a baffle in there or
Uh-huh.
a bladder kind of thing for the pressure.
Yeah.
It's rusty on the outside, so
Huh.
that's my next is to call them and say, let's replace that.
God, it's just one thing after another.
Because it's not obviously leaking, but I can see the rust on the outside, so it can't be really good.
No, that's not good. And you don't need rust in your water.
No. I don't know that. I don't know. I don't expect it's getting into the water,
Yeah.
but and the guy wasn't too concerned about it. But he said, yeah, you should probably get that replaced. So,
Yeah.
so,
Well,
but
that's great.
yeah, the only thing I have to do is dump the salt in,
Yeah.
and it comes in 40-pound bags.
Oh.
And you're supposed to put in two 40-pound bags for every month or so.
Yeah.
So I tried to time it when my grandchildren.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm not sure when they're coming next, so I could get somebody to put them in the car,
Yeah.
and then I can get them out of the car into a wagon,
Yep.
and I can get the wagon around to the back door. But it's a little harder getting them out of the wagon onto something with wheels in the house.
You know, I'm sure you may not remember it, but my cart that I carried stuff into class on, it is still. Oh, it's right there.
Yeah.
I forgot I brought it in. And I use it all the time now. I take the trash out with it. I bring stuff in that's too heavy to walk up the stairs with, and
Yeah.
And I got that I don't know,
You probably can't find them anymore.
maybe 30 years ago,
Yeah.
and it came with a 12-year warranty, and I thought, I'll bet in 12 years I'll have to replace this. Well, it's
30
still.
years later.
So, anyway, I guess
She's
maybe
not gonna make it.
Shelley is not going to make it. So let me change the camera. She will want to see this lesson. We are recording, so
So she can listen to our fooling around about
Yeah.
engineering.
Oh, that's not what I wanted. Well, she may find it interesting. So, you
I
you
bet
have
they have their own stories.
what?
I bet she has her own stories about
She does. So, do you have any questions or reports about gods or the forum?
um, I guess you pointed out at 6 something about my having my elbows down sooner, so
Mhm.
I like to. I mean, 4
Four is
you're
easy.
sort of focusing on the elbows,
Yeah.
but on 6 I'm not focusing on the elbows, so
Ye-
it's
6, 6 is actually easier than 4 because when you get to the extent of your etheric body, that rotation continues this way so that it's much easier. Here's where the problem is because so often we do this. And what we need to do is when you get to this point, you need to be bringing the elbows in. Yeah. And here it's easy to drop the elbows, but here you have to keep.
the is to have it out here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to. Out here was what I was thinking about, not so much in here.
Yeah. And the nice thing here is that this movement is rotating the elbows down, this twisting. So they're already down. It's just keeping them down that we have a problem with there.
Whereas in 4, they're leaning down.
We come up here, and the problem with 4 is that it's too easy to do this, and the elbows are out.
Yeah.
So you have to find how do you drop the shoulders in order to keep the elbows down, and then here is not a problem.
Yeah.
Reverse problem from 6.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because with 4, it's a matter of just forgetting, not paying attention to the hands. It's the elbows that are that are doing the circles there.
It's the elbows that are important.
But okay.
Is that
Yes, that helps a lot.
good? Well, that was easy.
This is start.
So I owe you both an apology in a way because I discovered that I don't know how I did it, but I jumped past a very important lesson or two on reverse breathing.
On what?
Reverse breathing.
Well, perhaps you assumed that we knew how to do that. Sort of, we do.
Which probably you don't actually.
Bruce's reverse breathing is a little bit different from other people's.
Well, actually, no. I mean, his reverse breathing is, I think, very accurately the traditional Taoist forms of doing it. And the thing is that there's more than one. As a matter of fact, there are several forms of reverse breathing. I'm really only going to suggest that you work on the very first one to begin with. And I think I've been thinking that I'm going to simply give you the notes on the second one, which is much more difficult and not something you will want to work on for a while. But I'll give you the notes so that if you decide someday you want to play with the second one, you can, because it is much more difficult. So, let us look at this. Now.
Well, I already do my lower gut is going in when I'm inhaling and out when I'm exhaling.
Yeah.
So it's,
and that's
sort of
in a way a part of it. It's not really what we're going to be doing. I mean, it is. I guess I would say yes, it is a part of it, but it's not the whole thing. Is the issue. So one of the things is that this first type of reverse breathing really activates the lower dantian. And as I said, there are two basic types, and we're going to just look really at the first one, and I'll either send you or send you at some point the notes on the second type. So a lot of people have the mistaken idea that all reverse breathing is just flipping the way people normally breathe. Their stomachs going out when they inhale and coming in when they exhale, just the reverse of that. But that's actually not what reverse breathing is really about. Yes, that occurs, but the main point is that it is the way it works, the internal organs, and most specifically the way it really can work the central left and right channels more strongly than regular breathing can. Now, where this gets tricky is in understanding why you would use reverse breathing if you have the base of being able to do why you would use reverse breathing, period. If you have the base of being able to do reverse breathing, then when you do the separate methods of reverse breathing, working with your internal organs, it is possible that you can, with regular breathing, in fact, do the same things you're doing with reverse breathing. You are able to internalize it, but the biggest single thing about it is, in one sense, that what this breathing can do is you can use the inhaling of the breath to open and drive your limbs to extend, or you can cause the breath coming back in to pull and close whatever inside you needs to be moved, including your organs, your limbs, or your spine. And you can do that more strongly with reverse breathing. Now, some people ask, is power generation in the...
Wait a minute. So, on the inhale, it's opening?
In reverse breathing, in regular breathing,
in regular breathing, I can feel it, yeah.
Yeah.
But with the reverse breathing, for me, it's a concentration.
Right.
But
in reverse breathing, you're doing just the opposite.
You're condensing, so to speak.
Yes.
Okay.
In effect, you are. Actually, eventually, that's one way to really think about it. Absolutely. So, some people ask, is power generation in the martial arts the same thing? In terms of martial arts, you actually can produce more power with reverse breathing than with regular breathing. But if you look at how you are going to use reverse breathing for meditation and how it can move what's happening inside the left and right channels around your body, then reverse breathing actually is slightly better. The main thing is that you're trying to get your breath and everything within your bag of skin to follow your breathing. You only have two metronomes in your body that go on 24 hours a day. One is breathing and the other is pumping blood. And if your blood stops moving, you die. If you stop breathing after not too long a time, you're dead. So what reverse breathing does more strongly than regular breathing is it actually enhances the ability to move blood through your blood vessels because it causes a pressure. One side of it really pulls the venous return, and the other side causes it to shoot up your arteries more strongly than regular breathing. Now, here's another part that is a little bit tricky. How can you tell if you're doing it too strongly? For most people who are relatively bodily unaware, who haven't done a lot of things where they can feel the inside of their internal organs, it's all just kind of one big thing. And what you do to make sure you don't hurt yourself is if you start feeling pressure building up in a localized place inside your abdomen, that usually means that something has closed down. And the breathing you're doing is trying to force its way through. It usually does not mean that you are just breathing better. If you start feeling that something is happening too strongly, make your breath become a bit more gentle and reduce the internal pressure that it's causing inside your abdominal organs. In terms of healing, using reverse breathing, you can actually get much further control of how energy goes in and out of your hands than you can with regular breathing. And that is mostly because the inside of your abdomen is under a much larger continuous internal pressure. And that internal pressure can much more easily be modulated in small areas where you just can't get a big wave out and a big wave in. So if you take the middle of your abdomen, so in other words, about your diaphragm, and roughly the top of your pubic hair, this is the area in which reverse breathing is going to have its effect. You're going to be working your internal diaphragm. So you take, you think about what is about the middle of it, and that is also the middle of your spine. Either one will actually work. And when you inhale, everything from the top of your head, all the chi and energy that you can muster wants to come down as you make your diaphragm and your belly come back towards your spine. So the movement is not like this. It's like this. It's both. It is going in and out. That's absolutely correct. But it is also pressuring back towards the spine. in regular breathing, you can fudge a bit, and it doesn't reach your spine, but only your organs, and that's fine. But one of the essential issues in reverse breathing is that the movement of your internal organs has to squish against your spine and release against your spine. So the first thing that you need to do, actually first, is just kind of, and I'm not sure whether we did this before, is to work on the belly roll. Did we work on that before?
Somewhat.
Yeah.
It's not alien.
What?
It's not alien totally. I'm not sure that. I when you say it, I remember Jay's Dantian challenge,
Mm-hmm.
and him pointing out that there was a woman who did it with a rolling action.
Uh-huh.
And I thought, oh, okay. Whereas most of the men would just.
Yeah.
So it's not alien. I'm not sure.
This is an
in my
exercise really just rolling your belly to loosen up your belly. And actually it also strengthens those muscles that are involved. But when you get that belly rolling going well enough, you should feel something going right down your spine and coming right into your spine. So actually, I'm going to take this off. This is probably better done with nothing on, but I'm not.
But we're not going to do that.
I'm not stripping today. So what I can do is I can put my hands on those two areas. And with the belly roll, you're not doing what we do in reverse breathing. This is an exercise. So the belly comes in and the diaphragm actually goes out. And then they reverse. The diaphragm goes in and the belly goes out. So you get this rolling motion. And what you're doing is building control of those muscles. I mean, that's what that's about. So yeah, you're quite right. I wanted you to try it at this point. Just so as the belly goes in, the diaphragm actually goes out, goes forward. And then as the diaphragm goes in, the belly goes out. And so you get this rolling action.
And which way is the air going? It doesn't matter.
Just keep it going. Actually, it really doesn't matter at this point. You may want to align it with the movement of the lower abdomen, simply because you're used to doing that.
The diaphragm going in seems fairly smooth, but going out, it's sort of, well, it's
Yeah, at first, it's a little difficult.
Yeah.
And particularly if you haven't practiced this at all, then, you have to condition the muscles to do it. But what this is doing is developing your control over those muscles so that when we actually get into what we want to do in reverse breathing, it's a little easier.
So,
They just each do the opposite for the belly roll.
it's going to take some practice.
Yeah, it does. But you feel like you understand what you want to do?
I think so.
Uh-huh.
Though, as I do it, I'm realizing, okay, it's all going in, it's all going out. That's not.
Yeah, that's the difficult part, is separating and getting them to go in opposite directions. Because our tendency, yes, is to do everything together and then it's just in and out. And what we're trying to do is get that one in and one out, and then reverse that. And that then begins to exercise all the muscles in the abdomen. I remember Gianni demonstrating this, and he of course took his shirt off, and he was extreme about what he could do with that. But he was saying, it's a really good exercise to prepare. So that's one thing to work on.
Yes.
So until you get to the point where you're actually getting it to go up and down your spine, you can do reverse breathing, but you can't say it was really complete. The next thing is that the top of your belly is going to come down and the bottom is going to come up, and they're going to meet in the middle. And when they meet in the middle, your abdomen has gone as far back towards your spine as it is going to go. And that's an inhale. When you exhale, everything inside your organs are going to go up to your diaphragm and down to your pelvic floor. And if you only get it to the top of your pubic hair, that's fine. The area below that is a little bit tricky. So this is talking about reverse breathing. So when you're doing reverse breathing, these two are going in and pushing back. And then on the exhale, they're going out. So it's not just in and out. And you have to feel it in terms of its effect on the spine. And you can feel it when you do this. You can feel it pressuring the spine. It's actually pressuring the organs into the spine. And what it does is, I find it just shoots the energy right up my spine.
Well, not yet.
Well, it didn't happen the first day. When you push out, the outward breathing is lifting everything in your body, so you get a wave of energy going to the crown of your head. That's what I was talking about. But your legs now are more difficult. You're breathing ideally is going to go down through your legs all the way to your feet. And reverse breathing in this sense is done in two ways. It's done in a whole body fashion, which I was just describing, or it can just be done that your breathing only goes between the top and bottom of your abdomen. But in truth, reverse breathing is about joining the entire body to your breathing. So when you inhale and you're coming down to the center, you're trying to get all the energy of your body to come to your spine. And you're trying to pull all the energy from your feet into the middle point in your spine. And then when you exhale, you go out to the bottom of the feet. And when you inhale, you come into the center, pulling down from the head and the feet. And when you exhale, you're going from your diaphragm to the top of your head and the bottom of your feet. So, some safety precautions. If a normal person feels that there is something that is happening, or there is a lot of internal pressure building up anywhere in your abdomen, then just release it. But what if you start getting some sort of a sharp pain? Well, what that means is that you really don't want to be doing reverse breathing that day, or you have to make it so gentle that it does not cause anything to go into pain. Because for all you know, you may be on the very verge of having an appendicitis attack, or you could have a blocked vein or artery in your liver, or something else. So if you do reverse breathing, when you feel pain or extreme discomfort, or just extreme localized pressure in a little place, or just getting very, very intense, that means you need to back off. So you want to have your breath go more gently until you work out what is happening in the obstructed place, and everything begins to flow freely. So, we have a lovely little exercise, of course. And it starts with, you're doing, actually at the very beginning of it, you're doing regular breathing, just so you understand. But we're going to be really trying to sense things first. And then we'll introduce trying to at least play a little bit with the reverse breathing. Okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you to stand up.
Yes.
Since it works better
better standing.
Yeah, it does. So I'm pretty sure that at this point you can get your mind and your intent inside your body. So we want you to use your intent to go through every part of your body and track and become aware of whatever you're encountering. So start going down from the crown of your head. And the neck. And chest. Abdomen. And hips. And thighs. Calves. And down to your feet. And now just begin to do reverse breathing and endeavoring to do what I've described earlier. Feel the sensation of your breath, and using your intent, make it go through your body. From your head down to your fingertips and your toes. So get some sort of clear physical sensation of what your intent is like when somehow it combines with your breath. Now, no one's ever been able to give anybody a special trick for doing this. Masters normally do it with transmission. But everybody, at the end of the day, has to find whatever that thing is inside you that allows them to do it. Now just lift your arms out in front of you. And as you inhale, use the force of your breath to move the tissues of your arm closer to your torso. The arms are not bending, you're just moving the tissue. In other words, lengthening in. You don't have to physically move. Remember, you can lengthen. You can lengthen the fascia. You don't have to actually physically bend the arm. And then use your intent and your breath to lengthen from your shoulder out to your fingertips, so that the body is moving because it's moving. It's being moved by your breath and your intent, not the muscles. And this is one of the things that can help a person to relax. And now extend what's happening with your arms and allow them to come slightly towards you. And let that coming in also go from your head down to your feet. And when you exhale from your feet to your head, out to your fingertips, let the breath lengthen your tissues. Just keep on doing this for a little bit until you get a very clear sense of how you can have breath lengthen your body either inward or outward, so that your intent is inside your body, and your intent is linking your breath and your physical tissues. Your breath has a sense of being a sensation inside your physical tissues. Your intent is inside your breath. It's inside the breath that's moving inside your body and causing your physical tissues to move. And now there's something else in that breath that is not breath. That is chi. So that your intent now seek the chi. And when you find it, just like when you were doing it with your breath, it can happen simultaneously with your breath, or it can become independent from your breath. Bring your chi from your fingertips to your shoulder. And let your body shrink a little. And let your intent go from your shoulder to your fingertips. And let your body expand or lengthen a little bit. And when you've done this enough times, you can actually begin to get what the chi is. And of course you want to be able to use this in the movements of gods, but remember, it comes from a merging of your ability to recognize their being able to go inside your body and recognize the breath and what it's doing, and recognize the nerves and what they're doing, going out and coming back. And then recognizing the chi, which is going to encapsulate all three of them. And all you have to do is move the chi, and everything else goes along for the ride. Because the chi is the driver of the coach, not the coach. chi tells the horses how to run. It tells the coach how to go. But it's all up to the driver. And relax. Questions, comments?
I could feel the lengthening. And then that's not, it's not the same as muscle lengthening.
Mm-hmm.
So I figured that's gotta be the chi.
Yeah. Good.
But I also, there was a point on my shoulder blade, and earlier on in the back of my neck, that was, I suppose you could call it a blockage. that, and the shoulder blade, I don't know, I wasn't really able to, if I moved the muscle some to, I wasn't able to release it. It was still, it was, I could feel it kind of going around it, but there was that knot there.
I wonder if
If I,
having the arms lower, because it really wouldn't matter where they are.
Yeah.
So you might play.
Sometimes lower is worse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Just doing this. It hurts in here. But this was in the middle of the shoulder blade in the back.
Well, you may have to leave your arms at the side then.
Or play with where I position myself when I start.
Yeah, absolutely.
And do some. I suspect there's a place where it will be a spot where it will release.
Because I think before you try to take this particular practice into Gods, it's good to just play with this exercise.
Yeah.
And then we will take it into Gods, of course.
And the doing it all together is a lot easier than trying to do the ripple.
Absolutely. But the belly roll it's worth doing a little bit of that.
Yeah.
You know, just to strengthen those muscles and develop their flexibility. Because I think the thing I found was that when I did that, I could find what the movement, I could define the movement of the muscles, whereas before all I could do was just sort of pull in and push out. And that's not the whole thing. But believe me, this is a lot easier than the second method.
Okay.
But I will give you the notes on it because you should have it at least as part of your knowledge base, whether you choose to actually practice or not. I will say that I do not have the second method so that I can really use it consistently, because it just takes too much focus to do the breathing. And I don't think, I find it very hard to try to do other movement at the same time. This is my issue about it, honestly. So, anything else about gods?
I don't think so.
or breathing before we leave that alone? So last class I had sort of begun pointing out that I wanted us to begin to be really clearly aware of the basic movements of twisting and bending and stretching and lengthening and all of those good things. But with the view to, and I didn't talk about this last time, but with the view, if you have not worked on it, to really focusing on moving along the yin and yang surfaces, and or as deeply as you can move into the body. I mean, I don't know what. Actually, I've never asked, I guess, specifically what you feel you are able to do. Can you feel that you are able to move along your fascia? Can you move your fascia?
Sometimes.
So at first, it of course is easier to just focus on moving along the surface of the body, but it's really helpful to be really clear about it coming in the yin surface on the yin part and going out the yang on the yang, because that begins to, even just being on the surface begins to move the energy more efficiently. Did that raise a question?
I'm just thinking, okay. So I'm thinking, so where in the form are we doing both at the same time? I mean, it's real obvious in the.
Well, there
in the
are
guards,
obvious.
in the cloud hands.
Yeah.
Part, that's. Both,
To begin with, you don't really go into that. That really
okay.
is the
So
next step.
I was just thinking, okay, where am I gonna come to and not know what to do? But I don't do that. I'll cross that bridge when I come to it.
Yeah. So, if you're thinking about that, you won't be able to feel the energy. So
just
take the simple.
Just feel the energy as it's going and not try to make it be one something or other. Just
no, because fortunately, in this form, a lot of places, both sides are doing the same thing. Not all the time. There are a lot of places also where it's not. But it's easier to begin with to think of out, in, out, out, in, out, and not. As a matter of fact, that's what I was going to recommend as a way to, at first, go through the form. And I found just using in and out much easier than trying to think yin and yang or any other words. Just because in and out are short and quick.
Yeah.
It allows you to at least say the word, even if you haven't quite got the movement yet of the energy. I'm sure you have the most of the physical movement. That's not.
Yeah, that quick change in there.
Yeah.
That out in out.
Yeah.
In that one, in those postures.
And some are,
I'm
you
sure
know.
I got those.
It's interesting that the form starts with that really difficult. It is difficult, the grasping the sparrow's tails, because once you get through that, then quite a bit of it is relatively simple.
Yeah.
But first one is not. And what's happening with each of those is really energetically the same thing that's happening with them in the yang style. It's just it's much more condensed. So it's not that it's suggesting that you're doing anything significantly different. It's just it's much more subtle and condensed. Because you have, I mean, you have the same thing in the yang style, in that you're going in and out and out and in and in and out and in out in out. It's the same energetically.
It's just you haven't got your whole body moving all that.
No,
your body and arms are not doing all that.
No, they're not. It's much more internal. And one of the things as you work on that form is to not feel that you have to maintain the physical movement in its original size. Because when we begin it, when we first start, we're doing everything very large. We want to make sure we know, but it doesn't have to be that way. This form, eventually it can be really very small.
So I may for a little while do it a little bit larger.
Oh yeah.
Forget the in and out until it's.
Oh, absolutely.
Until I'm.
Absolutely, but I'm just saying, just making the point of not. For a long time, I think I felt locked into the physical movement. That it had to be. That's how it was. That was the form. It had to be. And then I realized that if I really was using the energy, because all of it doesn't actually have to show. I mean, twisting, I can twist in and twist out and nothing's happening physically, but it's happening energetically. So that's kind of where this is going, you know, is to begin to really be aware of, particularly with the breathing. You know, we're now just getting more internal and moving towards condensing it. Blah, blah, blah. So, does that give you enough to work on?
Oh, yeah.
Do you have any questions about the grasping sparrow's tail in the beginning? Because they are. There's a lot going on in a very short time.
Let's do it a little bit. I don't know that I have any questions. It's just
Sure.
getting all the ins and outs.
Okay. So we should do it slowly.
Yeah.
And I think it's really good if you can do some opening and closing before you begin, because it really helps to set up the pattern, gets the energy moving. And there's a very subtly twisting involved in that. And then when you begin, it actually, of course, goes into a twisting out. And then there's a little in and then out. In, out, out, in, out, in, as you transition to the other side, out, in, out, out, in, out.
Okay, so it's the out, in, out.
So roll back, which is, let me enlarge this a little, is this movement. So what's interesting is that this is in, I'm sorry, out, said that wrong. This is out, in, and that's roll back. And then you have on, push downward, which is in, sucking in a little further, and then out.
Mm.
So, is that?
Yeah, that's clear. Today?
And what's kind of fun is you get to practice roll back and push downward over and over, because we do follow and focus so many times. So, what's your problem? should have turned my phone off.
Oh, is it telling you something?
Yeah, it's making noise.
Maybe Shelley's saying, sorry about that.
Could be. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Good. Well, I hope this is good for Shelley too. Let me see, was this? Yes, it is Shelley. Oh no, that's Jane. Never mind. Shell. It appears my tablet is unwilling to cooperate. If Craig shows up, blah blah. So that's our boy Zach. If Craig shows up in the next 5 minutes, I'll participate. Yeah. Otherwise, would you please record? I did record, period. We really missed you today. Poor Shelley.
Okay.
She just can't do that herself anymore.
That's so hard.
Yeah, I just can't believe how fast it's gone with her. It's just awful.
Yeah.
Well.
Bye.
Bye, Shell. Bye, Carol. Hugs are good.
Hugs are good.
That Shelley again. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. It's Jane talking to Zach.
Oh. That shows up on both phones, huh?
Yeah, we've got, that's just set up as a group. And whenever any of us are talking together, the other gets.
Yeah, we've got some groups.
Which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Know what's going on.
There are times we want both of us and both of the girls in on conversation.
Yeah. We'll say hi to John.
I shall. You're trying to think. Well, how can I get him more social contact? Well, I don't know. Would he do a meditation class with you? Would he do a? You can't stand for any length of time. You can't do the form.
Yeah.
By any stretch. But I don't know.
Well.
Oh.
Do you want to jump into our meditation class? Oh.
Probably not.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the feeling that much as John and I enjoyed being together, that it wasn't really for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm thinking, things like the rolling thing would probably be good for him, because it could be something you can just sit there and
do
and work those muscles which really need strengthening to hold up the back so it will stop hurting. But
boy, that really makes a difference too.
Yeah. Well, I do the sit-up kind of exercises every day, not quite sit-ups, the ones
Yeah.
that Dr.
Crunches.
Trish gave us.
Yes, I
because
do
then
that,
you
and I
get
do a one line on my stomach and
Mhm.
arching and
Yep.
lifting my feet and my head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the pelvic tilt,
Yeah.
and that's the one that helps the most if something starts hurting. It's just like, okay, let's do some more of these.
I'll tell you all of that. Plus, I use CBD balm every day too, which helps a little bit, just a little more, you know.
Yeah.
But it's really made a difference in my back, which is not in good shape, but I've managed to maintain it.
Yeah. John tried the CBD for a while, but he didn't like it, didn't find it helpful.
Mm. Some people don't.
Yeah, and he's very sensitive to it. So even without the THC, it gives him a high that he doesn't like.
Oh, really? Oh, I don't get a high from it at all.
Mm.
I get mine from my massage therapist, actually, but I find it helpful. I don't know that it, I mean, it's not a complete game changer or anything, but it's just.
Yeah, we use something called TheraWorks, which is a magnesium-based thing. And it does seem to give him relief, but he doesn't want me to do it very often because it's not something he can put on himself, really. Stresses
doesn't
him out.
want somebody else to do.
He's a strange back in some ways. Well, it's okay if his back is hurting today. It means he has to take off layers of clothing and lie down, and the process of getting onto the bed and lying down is painful.
Mm.
He's got an appointment for a gastric emptying test on Wednesday, but he's supposed to go without any pain medication for 24 hours. And I think we're going to have to cancel that because I don't see how he can do that.
Wow.
Because it's between his knees, bone on bone, and his back.
Wow.
I don't know how useful it would be if he's in agony the entire time. So.
Well, no, it might not be terribly useful.
So we have to contact his GI doctor and say, we didn't know this. What do we do here?
Yeah, maybe you should have a consultation.
Yeah, getting in touch with him is hard.
Oh, tell me. Take care, Carol.
You too.
Good class.